Oh no. Why? What's going on, stream? How we doing? Alright. Let's just get right into it, Optic Major starting tomorrow. Starts, I believe, at 3 o'clock Eastern. Yeah. And I think we got some banger games tomorrow, Got Seattle, LAG, Boston, Optic. Those are two first good matches right there. First two matches right there. I do that. I think they're gonna be nice bangers. But we got ourselves a bracket here, that's for sure. A lot of these teams though, like Paris, they choked their games away, Minnesota Rocker, they just looking like absolute crap. Like really like crap. London, Florida, two sorry teams, but we'll see how this goes. We got a long weekend ahead of us, and we're going to see how much I can get correct when it comes to these predictions, all right? I guess we'll go ahead and start with the first one with Seattle and LAG. Seattle, I can almost guarantee you is going to win this game. Just simple, easy. I say I'm putting 3-1 because I think LAG's been like looking pretty good in their S&D lately. So, I think they'll definitely take an S&D off Seattle. But, Pred's playing too good. I think he's got, if not the highest or the second highest, KD in the league right now, especially in, S&D and stuff like that. It's going to be an easy 3-1. They're going to lose a game probably just because of the fact it's the first game of the tournament or whatever. But now, we'll go ahead and go down to the 4:30 match with Boston and Optic, all right? So here's my thing with it, all right? I'm an Optic fan. I'll give you that. I'll tell everyone that. I've been an Optic fan since the old Black Ops 2 days, But let me tell you something about this team that I'm not a big fan of, right? I know this is their major and everything else like that. But I just don't see them doing as great as what, most Optic fans would think, right? I do, however, believe they will beat Boston. But hear me out. I don't see them making it far in this tournament. But I think because, nerves, crowd, whatever, Optic will win this first match against Boston. All the new guys on Boston, Beans and all them playing in front of the Optic crowd, I don't think they'll be able to handle it. 3-2, Game 5. Boston's going to choke. They're only good online, according to everyone. So, there's how it is. And dang, I actually screwed this up. I said 3 o'clock was the first match. It's the 1:30 match. So, I'm wrong on that one. But we'll just go ahead and go to the Toronto Ultra and New York Subliners. My personal opinion, New York, they fried Optic that one time, or this past weekend. I just don't, it's land. I know they've won a chip already this year, but for the first bit, I'm going to take Toronto. Scrappy's going to come in and start frying everybody's shit. Easy. 3-2, I say Game 5. Toronto clutches up, wins this. Let's go ahead and go down to the losers bracket here. All right. LAG versus Vegas. All right, so most people have probably seen the tweets that TJ Halley was all upset because of the fact that he's flying out to Dallas and whatever, and just to play one series and one and done tournament, That right there, terrible mentality. But do I think Clayster lets that happen? He's going to try his best not to let it happen. But I think LAG's winning this 3-2. 3-2. But let's go back up to FaZe and LA Thieves because I skipped it because, I'm an idiot. This is Game 5. Atlanta's not losing in S&D, but I don't think something about LA Thieves, they just have this kind of finesse. But I think Atlanta wins it because it's winner's bracket and whatnot. LA Thieves, they're gonna go down the loser's bracket and make their loser's bracket runs. This is what they do. It's what they do in COD. They don't do anything else. All right, LA Thieves with Rocker. LA Thieves 3-0 off the rip. No questions about it. Now here we get down to some nitty gritty here. All right. Now, Boston, they do have a good team. London, they're done for. I think they put up a fight, but I think all the maps are close, but I think ultimately Boston just wins that one 3-1. New York and Florida. Florida's not looking good. Honestly, I would say a 3-0 on that. Easy. 3-0 easy for New York. We'll call it a day. All right. See where should we start out? So Saturday, Friday. Okay, so these are the Friday matches. Yeah, so that was Friday. Okay. So right after that match, it'll play LA Thieves and Gorillas. Once again, LA Thieves 3-0. They have a way of just frying on lane when they're in the losers bracket. There's no other questions about it. I'm going with that. All right, so starting off Saturday, right, we'll have Boston Breach and Subliners. This is going to be a very interesting series. I say so myself. It's going to be a great series to start out Saturday with because of how much is going to be on the line for this one. I believe that, I'd say this much. If Boston still had methods, I would think, they'd be more on Boston's side. But I want to say, maybe New York, they're kind of the villains in some cases because they've already won a major this year. And I just think Boston comes out. Game 5, it's going to be a banger of a series. Game 5, they clutch up. I think something, because they've been, from what I know, is that they can't clutch up in Game 5s, but I think this is the time that they do. I generally think this will be the time that they do clutch up in a Game 5 and move on. All right, so we'll go back up to, that was a 1:30 match. All right, we'll go up to the winner's bracket with Seattle and FaZe. Another banger series. Another banger series right here. But ultimately, I think FaZe wins this one. Every map is super close going down the wire, but I think FaZe wins this 3-1. Going on, and they'll go to winners finals just off that. All right, so Optic and Toronto. All right, so here's what I have for Toronto. All right, or here's my thing about Optic. Right, I just don't think they're gonna win this. I don't think they're gonna win this tournament. I know they're gonna have the crowd on their side, but let me tell you something. If Scrappy drops like a 40 kill game at any point in this series, Optic's checked. I think Optic comes out and they'll win an S&D, but I bet you they don't win a single respawn, right? And so from that one, I just have, Toronto beating Optic. No questions asked. Scrappy's going to go huge. Toronto's always been Optic's kryptonite on land. That's just how it usually is. It's always a crazy series, but I just don't see Optic winning this one. And I'll get to that matchup in a second, and I'll tell you why. But here we go. Seattle and Boston Breach. I would really hope that maybe Boston has a little momentum, but when you go from playing the first game of the day to almost the last game of the day, it's hard to get the momentum going, Seattle's going to come off the loss. They're going to be pissed. Pred's going to be pissed. I say it's 3-0. 3-0 Seattle off that. All right, here we go again. All right, Optic and LA Thieves, right? It happens every tournament, right? This is the craziest series of the day. That's typically how it's going to go. It's going to go down to Game 5. I generally do believe this. Will I think Optic wins this? I think they do. I think they do for once. I think for once they actually do win this. But, and I'm probably going to be wrong. If there was one that I know that I might actually miss, it's going to be this matchup right here. It's going to be this matchup. I just, maybe I'm being a little biased on the whole Optic thing, but I just generally maybe think just Optic might actually win this. Maybe they actually clutch up for once. They do have the crowd behind them, but so does LA Thieves. They have a lot of fans too. Nate shot. I mean, it's going to be a crazy series. It's typically where Optic and LA Thieves like to see each other a lot, so maybe for once Optic actually wins this. All right, so what we got next? All right, so I think we're going on to winners finals with Toronto and FaZe. I'm going to call this right here 3-1 Toronto. And I say FaZe will win the first hard point, but they will not win the S&D. They will not win the S&D or the rest of the maps. The rest of the maps they will not win. Guarantee it. All right. So we got to finish it up quickly because, okay, no. We got a little bit of time to kill, but let's go ahead and try to get this done real quick before we head into the CRL watch party. All right. So next we got Optic in Seattle. Once again, the thing that really kills me about Optic, right, is they've always been a momentum-based team. If they can make a loser's run and get that first win, I think they could generally do it. Typically, that's how it boils down when it comes to Optic and all these teams. Honestly, all these teams have the chance to make a run. It's if they just got the right mindset. But here's my honest opinion on this one. Seattle is going to win it 3-2. Optic's going to make some mistakes. They're going to lose. They're going to be pissed. And before you know it, we're going to see Ghosty's head on a spike. Illy to come back into the team. Shotzi, but you can't just dolphin dive around and get kills, blah, blah, blah. I just think Pred, he wants to prove the fact that he wants to be on Optic, so he's going to beat the living piss out of Optic. He's going to come with that fire and beat Optic here. All right, so we got another rematch with Seattle and Atlanta. All right. In my opinion here, all right. I just think it's FaZe and Toronto for this tournament. They just seem like they have the fire to win this thing. But if Seattle is, if Seattle is really there to play and there to win, they could potentially beat Atlanta. But I think for the sake of the pickems and the sake of entertainment value, I say Seattle wins this. 3-2, Game 5. They got a lot of Game 5s going around. But hey, that's typically how these majors go. There's nothing but Game 5s the whole time. All right? All right, so we got a Toronto and Seattle finals, grand finals. I don't think anybody will see this coming. I don't think anyone's going to see this coming. I'll go map by map because we got a little time to kill. I say Seattle comes out, wins map 1. I don't know. They win the first hard point. I don't know what maps they'll end up playing. Who's better at what maps, blah, blah, blah. But I think Seattle comes out and wins the first map. Now with the S&D. Seattle, they've been good at S&D this whole what am I trying to say? They've been good this whole series. This whole whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. This whole stage. There we go. They've been good at S&D this whole stage. I think they come out win map 2. Now, I think Toronto will finally get warmed up. Now, I won't say that the S&D won't be close or either of these maps won't be close. They will definitely be close. I think Toronto will finally win the control and get a map up there. But I just think Seattle just has... Pred just has something about when he plays in that arena. Like, I remember specifically when Pred, his first tournament that he played as a pro was the Vanguard kickoff. And I watched him live because I was actually at the event in the front row. And he just fries. He, like, absolutely fries on that main stage. And I could see him doing it again. So I'm banking on Seattle to win. I believe it would be the next hard point, right? Or it's either that or it's S&D, one of the two. But I just think Pred goes off this series. He's going to be MVP. I think Seattle wins this. I generally think Seattle will win this whole tournament, this whole bracket. But I'll give Toronto another map to win. But ultimately, I think Seattle will win this 4-2. I don't have a way of... Do I have a way of downloading this? Well, let's just go ahead and lock that in. All right. We're going to submit it. And these are my bracket. And this is my bracket. I don't think I can make it any smaller, though. Sadly. Let's see. Probably not a way of actually doing it, but... There's got to be a way to do it, but we're locked in. Maybe I'll just take a screenshot of this, but these are my pickems. These are my pickems for the Optic Major. I have Seattle winning it all, coming from losers after losing a phase. I think we're gonna have a bunch of good series, in this tournament. Like, this is probably going to be one of the best, like majors to watch. One, because it's an Optic Major. You know it's going to be lit. There's going to be a ton of fans there. There's going to be a lot of booing, a lot of yelling. Like, it's going to be a good time. And I hate that I didn't get to go to it. But I think I do have Seattle winning it all. I don't see Optic winning it. What did I have them at? Did I have them at, what would that be, top 4? Yeah, so I do see them getting top 4. Anything more than that, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see it. I do think they finally get over the hump where they beat LA Thieves, but I just don't see them winning this tournament, even if it is their own tournament. They just have a little bit more, practice to go into, and I think they got it, But, all right, so we have about maybe 10, 15